Jeremiah 8:8. How can you say we are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us, when in fact the false pen of the scribes has made it into a lie? Howdy, friends. I want to look at some scripture with you today. What do you think that passage means? What is it telling us? For me, it really helps to look at a section of Jesus' teaching from Matthew 5, where he says some things about the instructions in the law. So let's take a look at it. Starting at Matthew 5, verse 17. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished. And he goes on to say, whoever breaks it is least in the kingdom of heaven, and whoever teaches men to break it, and whoever keeps it and teaches men to keep it is greatest, and so on. And then he goes over particular examples. You've heard that it has been said by those of ancient times, you shall not murder, whoever murders shall be liable to judgment. But I say to you that if you are angry with a brother or sister, you will be liable to judgment. And he goes on to go in more depth on that. And these kind of things, like with adultery, the same kind of thing. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. These aren't necessarily contradictory to the law. These are an expansion, an explanation, a deep dive, if you will, on what that could really mean. But then, in verse 38, you have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist an evildoer. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, give your coat as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go also the 2nd mile. Give to the one who asks of you, and do not refuse anyone who wants to borrow from you. That's a very radically different teaching than eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. And sure, there are ways we could force it to reconcile, but I think Jesus is pointing out a flaw in what was considered the law. And I think this may be the very type of thing that Jeremiah was prophesying about. And Jesus was fond of quoting Jeremiah throughout his public ministry.